some internships, it's the best way to find the way you will prefer. Then when I've been graduated, I started working in the very large shipping company in the treasury department. So I did it. I worked in treasury for 10 years. And last year, I moved from treasury to financing. So now my job is when we make some investment, some capex, I need to raise some debt to get some financing from investors and the banks. For example, when we buy some ships or some containers or when we make some any investment, we need to get some cash from the banks or from the investors. So I need to raise the debt. Okay, this is what I'm doing. Yes, yes, project finance or not project, more assets because the ships or the containers, it's more assets. When you need to get some financing, there are two really kind of financing: the project and the assets. So I'm more working on assets, but I think in the future I will work on projects because it's two different things. The kind of financing on the project, you will get the financing based on the business plan and the project itself. And when you work on the assets, it's more on the value of the assets you are going to leverage. Yes, but not equity. Not equity because we are a family-owned business, so we don't leverage equity. It's only debt. But it's because exactly, it's only DCM. It's not no ECM. It's only DCM. Yes, yes. The operational departments, they're going to make some new investment. For example, they're going to buy some new vessels or new containers. They will tell us, okay, I ordered two new vessels. They will be delivered in 6 months, and it would be 200 million USD, for example. So we need to get the cash to pay the shipyard. Okay, so I have 6 months, for example, to get the cash. So I'm going to launch a request for proposal. I will ask the investors, the banks, if they are interested in this asset or not. So the first thing is to launch the RFP, the request for proposal, and to select the banks you are going to ask them to raise the debt. Okay, and you are going to compare the offers, and you are going to work on modeling because you need to compare to calculate the IRR, the net present value, to be sure that it's interesting or not. Each offer are interesting or not. So this is the first thing, and then when you are okay on the modeling, you are going to work on the contract and the negotiations with the banks. You are going to negotiate the clauses because they are going to ask some security on the asset. They are going to ask some mortgages or if they want if something wrong happened with the on the corporate, they want to get them to get back the cash. So th- so they will ask you, okay, to every 6 months you need to share them the financial statement to be sure that the results are good or not, etc. You have some ratio to respect to be sure that you are okay, etc. Sometimes, yes, sometimes, yes. It's not, yeah, it's not depth models. It's not valuation on the like in M&A. It's quite different. It's some other models. It's very specific to the depth models, and we adapt them for each different asset. The main thing is to calculate the IRR and the NPV. For us, it's the two main ratio that we need to calculate. I don't know if you already studied it in the university. Not really. It's mainly NPV and IR, not really multiples. My friends from M&A, yes, they're working on the multiples to on M&A, but not on financing. Yes, yes. Uh, for me, honestly, I really like it because I like to negotiate with the banks. And it's interesting because on the DCM, you have two different ways to raise financing. You can ask the markets, like issuing some bonds, or you can have some bilateral financing with the banks. Okay. So I'm also working on the securitization program. I don't know if you know it, like financing the account receivables. And yes, you can finance the account receivable via a securitization program. So we have it. So, and this is more on the you will raise financing on the markets because you can raise financing on the market by issuing bonds on securitization program, or you can finance with the banks with a bilateral contract, etc. Uh, it's cool. I like to negotiate with the banks because it's what I was doing when I was working on treasury, but it was more on the cash flows, and now it's more on financing. But the first thing I like is to negotiate with the banks. The model are interesting because for each asset the models are different. We need to adapt them. So on the calculation, it's more interesting. Treasury, honestly, like the math you are going to use, the models are really simple. Um, so it's not really cheat on the finance part itself on the treasury. On the financing, the models are interesting. It's less complex than M&A, but it's complex enough to be interesting. So this is an interesting point. Uh, but then it will really depend on the sector and if you are investment grade or not. What is interesting in my company is that it's a very large company, but it's a risky one. We are not investment grade, so every financing are more risky for the banks. So the negotiation is more complicated because if you are a very strong company, if you are Apple, you don't have to negotiate anything. They will you are double A or A plus, and it's really easy to get some financing. If you are a more risky company, it's more interesting because the financing is more complex to negotiate. Yeah, B minus, B minus, B plus. Yes, B minus, B plus, between B plus B minus. We're in this range, so it's good. It's quite risky, so it's good to negotiate this with the bank. But we are very large because the turnover is 55 billion USD, so we are quite large, but risky. So on financing, it's quite interesting. Yes, yes, a lot. Yes, yes, yes. This is why I don't want to work on M&A. Honestly, yes, you will have to work all weekends, every night. Yeah, they're working a lot, honestly. So in corporate, I think you are working less in corporate than in the banks. But yes, you will work a lot in M&A. Me, it's okay because yes, in France, the good thing is we have lots of vacations, I would say. So it depends on the country you are working on. If you are in the US, you will have only 2 weeks per year, so it's not a lot. But on the weeks myself, I will work from I don't know, from 8 9 a.m. to 7 8 p.m. It's good. It's okay when you work on finance. I think it's okay. I can make some sports. I can play music, see my friends. It's okay. Yes, yes, yes. It will really depend if you are in the bank side or in the corporate side. In the corporate side, in the beginning, you are going to work on the modeling, on the negotiation, and the clauses in the contracts, etc. And then after a few years, if you are going to become manager or director, yes, you will be more on the negotiation with the banks, but high value. You are not going to work on the contract themselves anymore. If you are in the banks, I don't really know because I've never done this job on the bank side, but I think it's quite different. Maybe it's the deal itself are different, but I don't really know. Yes, yes, you're right. Yes, you're right. On the when I work with the banks, I work in the shipping divisions on the banks. So yes, yes, the split is by sector. You're right. Some people are working more on energies, some other on transportation and shipping, some other on aircraft. So yes, they are divided by sectors in the bank side.
So sorry, I was sorry, excuse me, I was in a meeting. I could not come introduce. Um, Thomas, je te présente rapidement notre ami. Je ne sais pas si tu as dit, mais c'est un étudiant de
Ouais,
la New York University. Très sympa, russe en fait, et très bien connecté en Russie, mais bon voilà. Là, il est en Chine en ce moment et je crois qu'il va y rester un moment vu le contexte. Voilà, donc c'était, il voulait quelques conseils de ta part sur ta carrière et aussi, je pense qu'il cherche un peu savoir vers où se diriger. Voilà.
ouais, il s'est présenté, moi aussi.
Ouais.
Mais c'est bien parce
Ok.
qu'il rentre bien dans le détail. Il a
Ok.
déjà fait, je pense qu'il a déjà quelques années d'études et tout, donc
Ouais.
ça va. Il a déjà étudié un peu les trucs, donc ça va, c'est super intéressant. Sorry
Ok.
for the French, for the French,
Sorry
Nick.
for the French. Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Please go ahead. Yeah. Thomas has a very interesting career. You can ask him. Please go ahead. Please, I was in a meeting. I could not jump, but yeah, please go ahead, Nick.
Yes. Yes, but for them, if you are risky, they will they will get more cash because the interest rate will be higher. So it's good for them. So yes, sometimes it's good to have a good credit risk to be A or double A, but the bank likes to they like to give you some debt if you are risky because the interest rate would be better. So for them, they will get more interest. Yes, 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 sure. The first thing is you need to choose between the financial markets and the corporate finance. Is the first thing, and it depends on what you like on one you like. If you prefer, if you really like the math, if you really like the financial markets, go there because then it will be complicated to move from the corporate finance to the financial markets. It would be very complicated. On the other way, it's more easier to move from the financial markets to the corporate finance in some specific jobs. But if you start your career in the corporate finance, in the corporate or in the bank side, but it's really different. I don't know if you already done some internships or if you studied financial market and corporate. Okay. Yes. Yes. Mm. No, you need to know the math in the independent depends the job in the corporate finance. If you are working on the M&A, on the private equity, on the financing, yes, you need to be good in math, definitely. If you are more doing audit, treasury, controlling, it's still interesting. But if you are not so good in math, I think it's okay. The issue you will have in the financial markets then um, the really good job are done by the engineer because the math is so complicated in the financial markets. Huh? Hmm? 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 But you like math, or you are more, or do you prefer like more commercial negotiating? What do you prefer? Okay. 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 Great. You're welcome. Yes, f- at least for the internships, it's good to work, and you will see quickly if you like the financial markets or not, because it's a really world specific world. Yes, ECM trading, ECM. Yes, fixed income. Yes, there are different assets, but I'm really not working on this, so I cannot really give you some advice on which job you need to select for if you want to work on financial markets, because I'm not working on it. I only had one or two internships 15 years ago, but I'm not a specialist on it. You're welcome, Nick. Mm. Okay, you're welcome. Okay, great. You're welcome. See you. Thanks. Bye, Nick.